move us to item 2.11, Chancellor's reports. Chancellor?
Okay, thank you very much. We have several reports to do today, and we'll do our best to be brief. And our first report will be from Dr. Rudy Besikof, Interim President at Laney College.
Good evening, members of the board, Chancellor, and fellow colleagues in education. I'm actually going to begin my report tonight with a little bit of late-breaking news, and I'm today at about 5 o'clock, I received a letter from the Campaign for College Opportunity, and I'd just like to read the first sentence of the letter to you. It says, "Congratulations. Laney College has been named an inaugural 2020 Equity Champion of Higher Education for your exemplary work in awarding associate degrees for transfer to Black students on your campus." Obviously, this is a bit of great news to receive today, and very thrilled about it. It's also very much preliminary information, and I look forward to just sharing more with the board at the next meeting about that.
Oh, yay.
Anyway, just wanted to go ahead and share that bit of news with all of you.
Great.
I'd like to also share my screen as I have a little bit of a report to share here. I'll be brief. So on Friday, December 4th, very excited to announce that we will be holding the Laney College CTE Virtual Open House and Career Expo. And I've included the website, and it's also in my report to all of you. It's going to be an opportunity for us to feature and showcase our many programs, but specifically we'll be reaching out to our high school students in the area, as well as recent graduates, and especially individuals that with this economic downturn are in need of retraining or upgrading of their skills. Now, really, what's great about this is that typically an event like this is something that is in person and very hands-on. And I really have to commend our folks in career and technical education, especially Dean Crabtree, as well as our colleagues in student services for the immense amount of work they have put into the pivots that's going to take place for this event. There are going to be live chats with instructors and counselors bringing that necessary personal attention, as well as staff in a number of our areas, including the Welcome Center and financial aid. There will also be, and this is the part where the pivot has truly taken place, virtual workshops, demonstrations, and tours of throughout career and technical education. And for those who are not able to make the event on the 4th, a number of the events will actually be archived so they can be viewed as either videocasts or podcasts for up to 30 days after the event. This has really been an effort of innovation, and I just want to express my appreciation to all those involved. This is also a time of marketing for Laney College, and through our work, and I've reported to you periodically about the work we've done with the CVC OEI, or the California Virtual College online grant funds, and a lot of what we've done as it relates to curriculum development and other areas, but certainly promoting the college has been another area in which they've excelled. You can see there that we've done in a number of languages, a lot of campaigns and outreach in a variety of forms to our community. Also, if you come off the Bay Bridge, perhaps you've seen the electronic billboard that's out there. I think another thing that's amazing is that in addition to all the work that we do on social media, be it Facebook, be it Instagram, or other platforms, we also do a lot of mobile advertising that goes across hundreds of different apps away from social media. So that's another thing that's coming. So really, it's actually a chance for Laney to celebrate, because on November 18th, excuse me, as part of a 70 college consortium, a lot of the folks involved, particularly Professor Alta Erdenbatter and our Public Information Officer, Lorena Baldazzo, will be presenting the great work we've done to the other 69 colleges that make up this group. So I think it's something to truly be excited about. Our work certainly continues with Guided Pathways. On October 28th and 29th, we had a Guided Pathways Areas of Interest Jam. I've talked about areas of interest as being the meta majors and what we're doing with those. We had faculty, classified, and administrators come together in coordination roles to promote each of the 8 areas of interest. Also attending the event were some of our alumni, and thank you so much to them for coming back to Laney to promote the college, just to meet with prospective students. And actually we had 50 of them turn out. And again, just with the power of this medium, for those who cannot make the events in real time, they are available in either podcast or videocast form. And then normally when you see a TV channel, you see maybe Laney College was featured in the news, but actually Laney College was on TV. On October 30th and November 1st, 4 Laney College employees, including myself, were interviewed to promote the college. And I would just like to take one moment to feature a short portion of that interview with our Vice President of Instruction, Vicki Ferguson.
So Vicki, what kind of student service do you provide to support your students at Laney College?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Laney College offers student support services such as learning communities, emergency grants for students, Chromebook loaner program, as well as Wi-Fi hotspots, and also book vouchers, as well as giveaways. In addition, we also offer enrollment support, assistance completing the FAFSA application, as well as technical assistance and tutoring and counseling support.
Oh, very good. That's really
Just to name a few.
comprehensive. Yeah, that's comprehensive services. So,
So again, just some great work that was done by our Vice President of Student Services, Vicki Ferguson, our Public Information Officer, Lorena Baldazzo, as well as our staff assistant and also support for our APAS program, Huishen Su, who also appeared on the program and spoke Mandarin as well, to tell students about our Anna Peasy grant that we recently earned. So with that, I will wrap up my report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Besikof, for that report. So we'll move on now to President Angelica Garcia from Berkeley City College.
Thank you very much, Dr. Walter. Good evening, colleagues, members of the board, Interim Chancellor Walter, my colleagues on this call, and all of our participants. The Berkeley City College report, a couple of things I'd like to highlight. The first is that on October 29th, we had our second accreditation day. And thanks to our accreditation team, we did it in style with a lot of fun and sponsored a Kahoot trivial quiz. So our student services leadership team provided it. It was I think about 24 questions related to our ICER, following the theme of know it, show it. It was fun, it was competitive, but really friendly in the sense that it highlighted how much we really do know about our college in preparation for the ICER, and also some areas of just need for further clarification. The greatest part about it was being able to answer these questions live, engage in conversation via chat, one-on-one, and we had over 50 participants at a pretty steady stream involved for the entire event. And I did say that it was competitive in the sense that you kind of saw your rankings, like where you were climbing and how things were going. And so it was really fun to see the spirit of the community cheering each other on. And there were some gifts that were raffled off, but again, the primary role was just getting input from the community about how we can continue to share our work related to the ICER and in preparation for the next spring's visit. The next thing I'd like to highlight, and the Associated Student Body President Liam Zhu already shared this, but it was such an important event. The post-election debrief that took place was a space where I feel really humbled and honored as president of the college to have shared space with students and faculty and classified professionals. Just engaging both the sheer honor that it is to be able to exercise your right to vote, and also what it means to our community in terms of how the elections were rolling out. The conversations were incredibly professional, respectful, and the most important message I would say that came from that was students really thanking all the participants for just creating space. And the associated students have taken it upon themselves to continue to allow these kinds of community gathering spaces for students. And then lastly, what I'd like to share, President Besikof, Interim President Besikof already alluded to, which is that Berkeley City College also received communication from the Campaign for College Opportunity regarding our work in the conferral of associate's degree for transfer. One, in terms of just overall transfer, and then second, as an equity champion for our increase in transfer to our Latinx student population. So we're incredibly thrilled. That's truly comprehensive work with our strategic enrollment management plans, our strategic plans, ed master plans, how we connect to the strategic goals. And so I don't think that I'm alone to say that when the college receives recognition like that, it really is a multi-team effort across the district with the leadership of this board and our colleagues at the district office. More to come as Dr. Besikof shared, and we hope that when the news is more public, the event that's taking place on November 19th, it would be great to have as many of our community supporters there. And with that, that concludes my remarks for this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. And we'll go on now to Dr. David Johnson, President of Merritt College.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, President Bonilla, trustees, Chancellor Walter, faculty, classified staff, and students, as well as community members. I'm pleased to share with you the Merritt Board Report for November 10th. I want to begin by saying, in response to Chancellor Oakley's call to action, Merritt has been extremely active in our efforts to address any and every instance of structural racism. That's been our focus, and to ensure that all of our students feel welcomed, included, and represented. And so toward this end, we've created several social media platforms, and we've been running live workshops to recognize all of the contributions and efforts and advocacy in support of our underserved populations. Our most recent efforts have focused on our Latinx, Filipino, LGBTQ+, Indigenous, and undocumented students. And I just want to point out, most recently, our Black Panther Party, a historical dialogue set of workshops were extremely well received. And what was really interesting is that they dramatize how these aren't separate communities, but how the unification of all these communities can create a greater impact that can make a difference in the lives of our students. So in order to keep the momentum going, keep the conversation going, we invite you to attend a talk by Jason Seals on promoting equity and cultural pedagogy. And that's, I believe, on the 19th, November 19th at noon. I also want to share, because it's been alluded to, and I want to make sure that Merritt doesn't miss the boat on that too. Merritt College also was recognized by the Campaign for College Opportunity as a 2020 Equity Champion for higher education for its exemplary work in awarding ADTs specifically to Black and Latinx students. So there's a lid on that. I'm not supposed to say any more than that. So I just want to make sure that that I mention that as well. And finally, in some really, really good news, in support of our nursing students who are on the front lines, bravely preparing for the front lines of this pandemic while facing a lot of the financial difficulties that are a result of it. really edifying to be able to share this. In partnership with the Peralta Colleges Foundation, Ms. Lanice Jones has done it again. And through the generosity of Ms. Grace Richter, who I had the opportunity to speak with a couple weeks ago, and the La Miranda Rotary Club, 4 of our second-year nursing students were selected to receive $4,500 scholarships toward their education. And speaking with Ms. Richter, she really shared the impact that earning her nursing degree had on her in terms of really just changing the trajectory of her life, both economically and personally. So that was really satisfying that these students were able to receive the scholarship. And additionally, Dean Amboy, who oversees the Division of Allied Health and Public Safety, she recently applied for the second round of the First Responders Grant, and our efforts paid off and we were awarded the funding. So we're hoping to distribute this money before the end of the year to support those students who've been financially impacted by COVID-19. And that is the report from Merritt College.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. And last but not least, then we'll hear from Dr. Don Miller, the interim president at College of Alameda.
Thank you, Chancellor. Good evening, trustees, Chancellor Walter, community colleagues. It's great to be here with you this evening. Just a couple of quick highlights from the President's report. We are excited about the work and progress that the campus is making towards the Chancellor's call to action for racial and social justice. There's been some amazing work by faculty, staff, administrators, and students in the Puente program and working with the 1619 project. Those groups of folks for Puente have gone to conference recently for training, as well as Puente Mentor training. We've been excited to have a great brown bag series for the 1619 project, and then also a wonderful presentation that I got to attend part of today by the students of the AFRAM 30 course that invited the entire campus to come and join them in discussion of presentations and papers that they had done related to the subjects of the 1619 project, recognizing the struggles of African Americans in the United States since 1619. We also wanted to highlight for you briefly, we have a video to share with you that's sort of a virtual ribbon cutting for the new Center for Liberal Arts on campus, which is just about ready to open, although no students right now will be taking classes in the new building. The video was produced by Shonda Scott and Total Concept 360 in collaboration with Mark Johnson and the district marketing team. And I just wanted to say this before Mark plays the video. This amazing new facility is truly a showpiece for the entire campus. It exhibits all the best in architecture and design, and the amazing facility is entirely geared towards serving students and supporting them and helping them understand how much value we place on them, on their attendance, and on the amazing programs that'll be there. So you'll see highlighted art and apparel design and merchandising have special facilities within the building. And I'll just ask Executive Director Johnson to go ahead and cue the video. Mark, I don't think the audio is playing.
Mark, can you hear us? We're not hearing any audio. Mark, I don't know if you can hear us.
No, we can't hear the audio, Mark.
We did a test earlier this evening and it worked, so I'm baffled. Let's try again.
Nope, still no sound.
I really think Venus is in retrograde because this has just been one technical challenge after another tonight.
Mark, would you like me to try to share it?
A lot of people, so that.
Sure, Don. If you've got it, that would be great.
If you can allow me to share screen, I can give it a try. Give me just 1 second. Pull it up and have it ready. Okay, just one moment. This all squared away.
You know, one of the things that changed is that I did not have my earbuds in earlier. I wonder if that makes a difference.
Possibly. Let's see if we're able to share the audio. Can anyone hear the audio?
No.
No, we can't hear the audio.
Okay, it must be something in the setup with the screen sharing right now.
Well, I think they're just going to have to come to the opening.
Yep, definitely. We'll have to share it at another time, but it's a beautiful video. We'll send it out and share it with all of you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dr. Miller. It is a wonderful video, and thank you, Mark Johnson, for your efforts and your staff and everyone who is involved in putting that together. So you'll get to see it maybe in the movie theater.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So I'm going to turn it back to you for a moment, President Bonilla, to see if the trustees have any comments or feedback for the presidents. Then I'll move into my report.
Most definitely. Thank you for that. And thank you, all 4 college presidents. And I'm wondering if that video will be uploaded to our normal kind of YouTube feed so that there can be wider access to it.
Absolutely. It is private right now, but we are going to make it public first thing tomorrow.
Fantastic. I have Trustee Weinstein in the queue.
Okay, thanks. I just want to say that it is so cool. It is so terrific to hear the presidents talk about what's going on and what you all have accomplished, the awards that you're getting. I mean, it is just so heartwarming to hear that. And I hope that everybody who watches this realizes how extraordinary this district is and how extraordinary these colleges are and the presidents. And so I want to say thank you to all of you for sharing with us. It's just extremely heartwarming, and I'm glad you're doing the work you're doing, and thank you so much. That's it.
Thank you, Trustee Weinstein. Trustee Gonzalez?
Thank you. I want to, in particular, give a shout out to DGS. That COA building got off to a really shaky start. And you all had to go back to the drawing board and really just kind of reimagine the whole thing from budget to completion, and that it's here practically is really exciting. And to have the best center being done in the same meeting, kind of being signed off. There's something going on in DGS that's working. I don't know what it is, but it's really nice to see performance. Thank you to the staff, to everybody who's involved, from the people who conceptualize what's needed on the campus to the execution, and especially to all the working people who actually put the darn thing up. In some of our buildings, we actually have plaques up at Merritt College in the Barbara Lee building, and in the lobby of the Berkeley City College building. There's a plaque with every name of worker who put labor into actually constructing the thing. And I hope that we will be able to continue to honor the working men and women of the building trades who actually build this stuff. So thank you. Nice work, team. Really nice work.
Thank you, Trustee Gonzalez. Trustee Brown?
Thank you. I would also like to congratulate Peralta, Team Peralta, particularly the DGS staff and those who have worked really hard and for years at this institution to maintain and to construct the facilities. It's a very difficult job. It's underfunded, and you deserve congratulations. And also I'd like to congratulate the college presidents and the taxpayers that gave us the bond to fund the $1 billion of facilities improvements that Peralta has needed for such a long time. They've been very generous. So our local community that supported us, thank you to them and to the staff that's helped create this opportunity.
Thank you, Trustee Brown. Any other comments from our trustees?
Yeah, I'll just
always wonder. Go ahead.
I'll just make one more comment. I would like to echo Trustee Weinstein's comments. I remember when I first came on the board, it was very rare to actually hear the presidents talk about their colleges, the students, the initiatives and things that were going on. So I am particularly so happy that we are finally hearing from our presidents, because there's so much that you all do as leaders on the ground. And it is just wonderful because you are the core of this district. So I am very, very thrilled that we are hearing about everything that's happening on a bi-weekly basis at your colleges. Keep up the fantastic work, the fantastic and challenging work.
Thank you for that. Any other trustees? Seeing none, I will also congratulate all four of you on your accomplishments during this very challenging year. That's amazing. The students being acknowledged for their hard work through your graduation rates. So, like, take the roof off. You guys are absolutely incredible. And of course, the buildings that are coming online. So we know that it takes a team to make the dream, right? What is it? Dream work makes the team work. Teamwork makes the dream work. So congratulations. Congratulations to all four college presidents and your amazing staff, your amazing students, just all the way around. And of course, the district, DGS, and all the amazing work. I see Keith Kajiga is on the call too. Take our hat off to you. Yes, with Build Peralta. And Chandra. I know Chandra is usually, sometimes she's on the call, sometimes she's not on the call. And so just amazing work. And thank you, Trustee Withrow, for representing trustees in the video and capturing. I thought it was so appropriate to have you as part of the ribbon cutting ceremony for the College of Alameda. So with that, Chancellor, we're going to move into presentations, and I see three. and I'll let you go ahead and prepare the opening for each of these items.
Okay, well, I'm going to do a quick Chancellor's report here before we move into the presentation. So once again, I want to welcome Maisha Jamison as our board clerk in our temporary role. Thank you so much, Maisha, for being with us. And of course, thank you so much, Mark Johnson and Brandon Christian. He's not here right now in this segment, but boy, oh boy, what a heavy lift over the last couple of, well, it hasn't really been that long, I guess 2 board meetings, but I really want to thank you for your effort to make sure this is happening, whether or not the moon is rising in Venus or whatever tonight with Zoom. So just so you know, Maisha Jamison, she has her bachelor's degree from UC Berkeley in political science and legal studies, and she's been with our district since 2008. And you probably already know she's executive assistant at the Office of the President at Laney College. So we're really grateful that we're able to have her work with us. She has extensive experience with board docs and knowledge of the Brown Act and many years of executive board experience. So once again, Maisha, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm very excited to work with everybody. So thank you so much for welcoming me.
You're welcome. So I just wanted to give everyone an update. So President Bonilla, Vice President Reese, all trustees, presidents and members, colleagues, guests, students, just going to give a brief update and let you know what's happening in a nutshell. We are moving forward with some strategic planning and enrollment management initiatives within the district. We've begun taking a hyper diligence approach to enrollment management, and we'll be driving this direction throughout our fabric. So this is really far beyond productivity and class sizes. We're looking at enrollment management as it encompasses the relentless attention of attracting and retaining our students and providing for their successful outcomes, a lot of which you've already heard from our presidents today, but as well as looking at linkages between our revenues and expenses. You know, we owe our communities and our students college opportunities in which they'll be thriving, and we'll have growing enrollments and helping our students to achieve their goals. So our downward trend in enrollment needs to be halted and turned upwards, so we see robust growth and a way forward for our district. And so part of how we're going to be doing that is working with Cambridge West to help us in this process. And you might remember I mentioned that a couple of meetings ago. And then over the next few months, the district will be moving into revising strategic plans and ready to support our colleges and their educational master plans. We'll begin this work. Well, the colleges have already started on this work, but we're going to be looking at it from a district perspective here in December and through early spring of 2021. And to that point, in addition to what the colleges have achieving, as you've heard today, Laney College is an applicant for the current Middle College Initiative. And we hope to be successful in that application. And I would like to thank Vice Chancellor Brown for moving that application forward. And we've also applied to be a pilot location for the competency-based education program. So we'll hear more about that. So also within our coffers, our work doesn't stop there. With enrollment management, we're also looking at ways to collectively respond to State Chancellor Eloy Oakley's call to action, as you heard a little bit about already. But we're also starting our implicit bias professional development and looking to revise our EEO plan in line with the directives that came out in June regarding the call to action. So there's a lot happening there, and we're really excited about it. And then as Trustee Withrow mentioned earlier, all the colleges are working diligently on the ICERs, Independent Self-Evaluation Reports for ACC-JC. They're in progress. They're going through final completion right now, and we'll be bringing them back to the board for final read on December the 8th. And I want to mention too that we have more time to submit evidence after the ICERs are submitted. It's a snapshot in time, so we can continue to submit evidence as we move forward or as requested by the commission or our visiting teams. And so we're looking forward to hearing from the commission, of course, holding a positive outcome in our minds. And finally, I just want to mention that the Board of Trustees is thinking about, or we're working together collaboratively to structure some subcommittees of the board, such as a finance and audit subcommittee, and perhaps an enrollment management or COVID-19 committee. We're just in the planning phases of this, but I wanted to bring this out so people could think about it and maybe provide any kind of thought process that you would find beneficial here. And so I will be working with our trustees to see about getting these constructed. So that's just an overview of the many things that are going on within the district, but I'm very excited, and I think this is all going to be really the positive outcomes for the district as we move forward. So that concludes my report, Trustee Bonilla, President Bonilla. And with that, unless there are questions.
Thank you, Chancellor. If the trustees have any questions, now is a good time to raise them. And if there are no clarifying questions, Chancellor, we can go ahead and move on to the presentation.
Okay, it looks like Trustee
Reese.
Yeah.
Okay. Comment. Thank you, Chancellor, for really owning enrollment. That's an area that we really needed to look at closely. Thank you for owning that and ensuring that we are going to be much more proactive in terms of all that we need to do to create changes and to implement changes. And thank you for looking at strategic management. And also thank you for working with the board to actually get these committees together. I know that we've been talking about this for a long period of time and it hadn't gotten any kind of traction with previous chancellors. It's so incredibly important that we're on the same page. So just a kudos for making all of these a priority.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Trustee Reese. And if there are no other questions, Chancellor, we'll move into presentations.
Okay, thank you. So
you're on mute, Chancellor.
Thank you. Our next presentation then will be from our Director of Information Technology, Antoine Mehouelley.
Thank you, Chancellor. Thank you, members of the board and the public. Mark, you can move to the next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, today I'll be covering the purpose of modernization and upgrade. Also, I'll be covering the technology master plan that CBT is working on collaboration with the district, and updating the board on work that the IT department is doing currently with the capital projects and other projects. Thank you. Next slide. So to organize ourselves for this project, the Peoples of Modernization, we created a project charter, and which the Chancellor is the executive sponsor. Under that, you have the executive advisory, which is basically the Chancellor cabinet. And we also created a steering committee, which I'm chairing. Next slide, please. And this committee, it's finance, it's human resources, finance, and campus solution, and district IT technology systems. Next slide, please. We also created a participatory governance committee, which is chaired by Chief Roberts. We have the training and communication group, and we have a student focus group. We have hired 11 students right now currently working with us with this program. And we're also working hand by hand with the District Technology Committee and the District Academic Senate. Next slide, please. So recently we have a new go live date, February 15th. So this date is intended to have least impact to faculty and students. So how do we get here? So basically November 30th was the initial goes live dates, but after assessment and looking at all the work that needed to be done, there was some challenges to meet that deadline. Then January 25th was chosen, but we also have a lot of pushback because it was the first day of school, and the PFT and other groups, faculty groups, did have a lot of concern. So we listened to the concern and we brought in the item to the cabinet, to the advisory groups. And after extensive discussion, just emphasizing that we want to have a go live date that have least impact to faculty and students, then we end up with this date, February 15, which is after census. So, and also with this new date, we don't need to work during the Christmas holiday. That was the initial plan, and a lot of people have concern around that. So there is no more need to work during the Christmas holiday. Next slide, please. So for the go live date, February 15 to be successful, Peralta need to complete all the required tasks and testing. So at this point, the current work being done, 73% of the project have been completed by Oracle. That's Oracle side. Overall, 100% of finance have been completed, and human and resources and campus solutions, 60% of the work have been completed. And we have some important date for Peralta. That's why we're organizing ourselves and trying to put our plan together. So we will be ready for December 7th to December 23rd and January 4th to February 10th. Those are our testing. The first testing dates for the functional analyst, the back office, and the second iteration of testing will be engaging faculty, students, and all the constituency. Next slide, please. So this is just to update, like the board approved on May 29th, phase 1, phase 2, and the cloud, the 5-year cloud subscription with Oracle. And we also identify we require to purchase the license support every year for around $312,000. And we also identify some items when we did some assessment to make sure that all these, all the ACC, all the FitMark recommendation are addressed. So we currently have a phase 3, a potential phase 3 scope that we are evaluating right now, and this will be addressed by the next CTO who's coming to IT soon, pretty soon. We are currently assessing the phase 1 and phase 2, what was left outside the project. These are items that was not a part of the initial contract. Next slide, please. And these are the tasks that we use we went to with the team, and to make sure that we assess the proposal, the plan, and the timeline. We also documented all the required testing, cutover plan, and making sure that everybody do all the recordation needed to be done, until they evaluated the retrofit and plan to test them and make sure it works properly, and propose a working time go live that will work for everybody. Next slide, please. These are a milestone that we're tracking the project to with Oracle and also with Peralta. And concerning Peralta, the most crucial date are the testing date, December 7 to December 23rd, and January 4th to February 10. And those are very crucial dates because we have to make sure that we are documenting all our testing and the cutover plan. We were ready to make sure that the go live will be successful on February 15. Next slide, please. For the technology master plan, right now we are at session 4. The CBT is drafting the plan at this point. Our goal is to bring it to the board on December 8th for the first read. And we did a lot of listening for focus group and asking we have a lot of participation. We also did survey, and we also engaged the student focus group to get data for the plan. So next slide, please. These are items that the team are working on right now. The application team and the network team, they completed 80 application, completed 81 project and have 26 to go. And the network team completed 45 project and have 21 to go. And basically the help desk for the month of October have closed 662 ticket and have 271 to go. We are currently pushing all these items and trying to complete most of the items before the go live. Next slide, please. For the capital projects, we are heavily involved on that. Most of this building needs technology, and IT is hands-on with DGS. We are providing the technical expertise and making sure that the standards are followed by the vendors and anybody who's engaged in this project. AECOM is working hand by hand with us. We are participating with all the meetings and decision making. Next slide, please. And I think that's all I have for tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Chancellor.
Thank you. President Bonilla, back to you.
Thank you. And thank you for the presentation. I do have Trustee Handy in the queue. Trustee Handy?
Yes, I just heard you say that we would be doing $350K for licensing annually. Is that correct?
That's correct. We will be, that fee is an annual fee that is not included in the Oracle upgrade contract that was.
Okay, so I need to go back to Antoine.
Okay.
Actually, I think that the board needs to have the presentation from Oracle, that May 29th presentation pulled, because when we were arguing about the price, we were given why it was a cost saver to give them just short of $7 million. And they said consistently that we would not be paying these licensing fees. And then Antoine, you came to us, I guess, maybe a couple of months ago with the licensing fee on the board. And I asked that question then, and you said that that particular fee was not included in the contract. Well, this is now something completely different. So what we were told and what we made that decision about, and what I've been very, very adamant with asking about who was negotiating the contract, finalizing the contract with Oracle, because we were already overspending because we didn't have a technology person negotiating it. We had general counsel, but that's not the same thing as having a technology person develop it's like a contract based on our needs. So it looks like once the board voted on the contract, we are now getting something different. And Chancellor Walters, you were not here, but it was a very contentious board meeting to the point that the board did not vote for the contract, and an emergency meeting had to be held on the 29th, about 4 days later. So I don't know what my fellow colleagues' recollection was, but it looks like Oracle is talking out of both sides of his mouth. And I think we need to make sure that we are sticking to, that this contract is what we agreed to. Because I have some serious problems with this pricing.
Trustee Handy, you are absolutely correct. I raised and echo some of those same concerns based on that special called meeting, the presentation at the regular meeting, as well as the special called meeting. And we do understand that at that special called meeting, we had a former general counsel who told us that they had negotiated the price, terms, and conditions of this contract and that we would not pay a penny more than what was listed before us. So I am in complete agreement with you, and so we definitely need clarity, but I do have Trustee Brown in the queue, so I'd like to open the floor to Trustee Brown.
Thank you. Actually, I was going to echo what you said, President Bonilla. Can we compare the board item from May 26, 2020 to what we're looking at now and what we had contemplated back in 2018? I think we need to be able to follow the ball so that we can be sure that we're going to be able to finally get the services that our students need. They need to be able to use the phone, a smartphone, for getting into the system, checking grades, getting information from and communicating with their instructors. And we can't do that right now. So I'd like to ask if we can get a comparison. What we had asked for before this last round of the IT master plan that CBT is working on was that each time we had a new contract, we were able to see where it fit within the master plan. But now we've got a whole new master plan and still more contracts. And so the thread is broken, and we need to have some continuity so we know what we're doing.
Chancellor?
Yes, I agree. I guess what I will say is there were several items that were not included in the contract in May, and several rounds of conversation that some of us were not included in to leave certain things out. So I wanted to have this presentation for the benefit of the board and the community, and we will be happy to provide a comparison. And that would be the aim. I have worked with and been on calls myself with Oracle in terms of this $315,000 annual, and they insist that that was not included in the original contract. And when we look at that contract, we don't see that fee in there, but we do see it saying that it is not included. So we'll definitely go forward with the analysis that you're talking about and bring that back.
Thank you. It looks like I have Trustee Handy. Are you back in the queue?
Yes, I actually had some questions other than that. I think that it's very important to, let's put it this way. We had an Oracle contract prior to this contract that when I brought it up, they were choosing to ignore that. And we didn't get the deliverables on that contract. And when they came to speak to us, they didn't even know that they had a poor performance on a previous contract. The challenge is this: The people who are coming here to speak are salesmen. They are selling the package. They're not the people who implement the program. They will do what they need to do to seal the deal. And then once that contract is done, you're going to see a revolving door of consultants coming through here. And we ask for continuity. We ask for the same people to be on the contract because we know how this particular thing works and why it's a bottomless pit of money technology is. And we all here want to protect Peralta and our funding and get what we've asked for. So we did ask those questions. And if their salesperson said that was in the contract, that's what we voted on, then I think we have some challenges. And this is the part that I've really been concerned about in terms of who negotiated this, the finalization of this contract after the departure of the other people. The reason I ask is because I've been here for 18 years and I know how it always looks and I know how it ends up. And we don't want to continue that. Now, the other question that I have for you, Antoine, I'm sorry, I have a difficult time pronouncing your last name. But the question I have of you is, what I would really like to see, I mean, the report and all, that's fine, but what I really want to see is apples to apples. What Oracle promised during that timeline, with a given timeline that we voted on, and where we are now with that. Is Oracle where they said they would be at this time? I asked some people at Merritt College. They were very pleased with how things were moving forward on the systems that they worked with, but not having there was a timeline, I think within 6 months, that we were going to be starting on the student module. Well, we're way past that, but that cost students every time, especially in the time of virtual. If they can't register with us, then they're going to register with somebody else from their phone. So what I really would like to see, and I'm hoping my colleagues as well, is a timeline with oranges to oranges, what they said, the time frame, and where we are with that right now. That's what my interest is. Are we getting what we're asking for? Are we moving the way we should be moving? And that's with the financial systems, the HR systems that were going to happen first. Then they said those had to happen before the student module, because we were wanting it to be the student module be first, but they said those other two systems had to go in too. So that's, and it doesn't have to be a long report, just where are we compared to what Oracle promised? Are we moving along? Thank you.
So Antoine,
thank you, Trustee Handy. Chancellor, you'll go ahead and take that. Yes.
Yes, I just want to say that some of the delay, I mean, we're definitely agree that we want to bring back the information for you and the board. But a lot of the delay, I'll just say, has to do with, Peralta employees and the tremendous amount of attention that has to be spent on the IT systems. So really the delay from the November to the January to the February is incumbent upon us. And that's one of the things we want to emphasize, is that we have to have our internal employees cooperate with the testing and doing the other technical aspects of the switch to Oracle in the cloud. And if that's not possible, then there will be more delays. Now, that's not to say that Oracle doesn't have anything to do with it, but the majority of it has to do with us. So Antoine, back to you with any update, any addition? You're on.
Thank you. Thank you. I heard the concern relating to the $315,000. I will provide a detailed reports and to show that that was not part of the contract. There was other saving that was there that was Oracle was supporting our 9.0 system, and our 9.0 system have been outdated, and they right now providing that support free of charge to the district because we're moving to 9.2. So we'll provide that in writing, and I think that will show what I'd like to about the contract. For the date, the chancellor said it right. We have a lot of challenges in house, and we have to organize ourselves quickly, and we have to act on the task that needs to be completed. And we have been pushing the date because it's impacting somebody. Right now, even the February 15 is impacting a lot payroll because they have to do 1099, W-2s, and all those items needs to come out, needs to be processed quickly before February 15. So that's all I have to say. Thank you, Chase.
Thank you. Thank you. Trustee Weinstein. Can you unmute?
Thank you. I just wanted to check, as I often do, but can you tell us when, number one, the blue phones will be completed? I think this is the second part of the project, but I will say that the blue phones and some of the other things, when I came aboard, there were problems with the blue phones or with any of the security things, the phones. And so I would like to get a sense from you, when is that going to be completed? Because it just seems to drag on and on and on, and that's security for students.
Yes, those two items belong to DGS and not IT. But IT is actively working on that, and we just finished the project proposal today. We were meeting today with DGS to help them get that up and running. But I think it would be best to update you on those two projects.
Yeah. DGS will be better?
Yes, DGS. It's an item of DGS, not IT.
Okay. All right. Well, when would DGS be able to speak?
Chancellor?
Let's see. Theria Smith, are you able to speak to this now, or would you like to bring back a report next time?
Can't hear you.
Thank you. I will bring back a report, but also in the next presentation in the Clery Act, I had a side comment that I wanted to provide the trustees about the blue phones and where we were. So I was going to include just a side comment, but I'll be happy to bring back a more completed report.
Great, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Does that conclude your report? I'm sorry, the presentation?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Chancellor?
All right. Well, with that, we will move on to our next item, which is our general obligation bonds update.